Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nash, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I am a woman who is currently staying here in Zim, and I want to share with you everything that happened in the year 2010 to this very day. I'm still traumatized, and my kids, they are also still suffering from spiritual attacks, and it all happened after we had bought a fully built, beautiful house in the suburbs that once belonged to this other elder from church. He was very wealthy, and this thing of just trusting everyone that you meet in church and trusting anyone that is wealthy, it is very dangerous, and it is not each and every person that you meet in church that has a good business and that lives a very comfortable life that you might think is blessed by God. Some of the people that you find in church, they are ritualists, and they will be hiding by just lying that they are Christians, yet at night they do evil things. Like this elder, everyone just thought that since he was rich, he was someone that was highly blessed by the Lord, but no one even knew that he had killed one guy who was from Mozambique who used to work for his grandfather. So they killed that boy that was from Mozambique. They took him from the farm because he was the one that used to look after the livestock that belonged to his grandfather at his grandfather's farm. So when he wanted his businesses to succeed, that was when he was told that the blood of an innocent person that was not related to him was supposed to be spilled, meaning that this person had to be killed physically. They then took him from the farm and they brought him to that house in the suburbs where they murdered him. And after murdering him, they took his body parts, they took his manhood. First, they went with his manhood and they kept it at the butchery. And after that, that was when they went and they buried his manhood at this other farm. So they were using his manhood to make money. So by the time that we met up with this elder, it was at this other church convention. And my husband later on, after the church meeting, he then told me that he had met this other elder who had told him that he did not want to stay in Zim anymore. He wanted to migrate to the UK. That is where his kids are right now. So he wanted to go to the UK, and he wanted to sell his house, and he had suggested to my husband that if he wanted to buy a property, maybe he should consider buying the house from him. So the elder then went to the UK where he passed away, but we were still in communication with him when he was still alive, including his children as well. We were in communication with them. That was when they told us that if we wanted to buy a house, since we did not have a house, we were just staying at this other place where we were tenants, and it was a good thing, they said, for us to have our own house. And they said that this was a very good investment, since this house, it was in the suburbs. Me and my husband, we both agreed that we were supposed to do this, but the problem was that we did not have money that was enough. So we did not know what we were going to do. My husband then said that maybe if we can speak with the kids. We then spoke with them, and they told us that it was fine since we did not have money that was enough. This was like a blessing from them to us, and we were so excited, and we were really happy that they were going to bless us in such a way. They told me and my husband, and they said that the way that they were going to bless us, they wanted us to have like money that was enough for a deposit, just to put something down, to give them some money, then we can give them monthly payments. But in the meantime, what we were supposed to do was that we were supposed to pay them each and every month, and they were going to make sure that the title deeds were going to be changed, even though we had not yet paid them the full amount. So as people that had never owned a house before, we were like, God is so wonderful, and God, you are so gracious. Thank you for everything that you have given to us. Little did we know that they did not even want the house anymore. They were just looking for someone that was desperate, whom they could sell the house to. And it happened that me and my husband, we were so desperate, we did not even think much about it. Then that was when we moved out, and we were so excited. For the first time in our life, we were going to be staying in the suburbs, and all of my kids, all of them, everyone was going to be having his or her own spare bedroom. This was like an exciting time for us. The moment that we moved into that house, you could just feel that there was something that was wrong about this house. Like each and every night, my kids, they used to scream. It would be one after the other, until my husband said, we need to make sure that our kids all sleep in the same room, because we don't understand why our kids are always screaming like this. This is not normal at all. That was when we told our kids that since they were very afraid, they were supposed to share the same spare bedroom. So they were all sleeping on the same bed in the same spare bedroom, but yet my kids will be screaming, saying that they were having spiritual attacks throughout the night. Each one of them will scream one after the other, and they will tell us that they are seeing spiritual beings in our house. One of my kids will say that when he is fast asleep, he would see a snake, and the snake will be trying to bite him. This snake, it stayed in the ceiling. And then my other child will say that he sees a skeleton that will be busy chasing after him. So our kids, they used to love to watch this other movie that was called Wrong Turn. So they would watch that movie over and over again. And I used to scream at them, saying that right now you are busy watching this Wrong Turn movie of yours, but at night you'll be screaming, saying that you are being chased by spirits, you are being chased by things and creatures that want to kill you. And right now you are watching this Wrong Turn movie, and you see there are people that are being hunted by these bad people. That is why you keep on having these nightmares. Each and every time that my kids will start to scream so late at night, I would take a belt and I would go and I will hit them with a belt, saying that, how many times have I told you not to watch your horror movies? I did not even know that I was just beating my kids, yet they were not doing anything wrong. It was because there was a ghost, there was the spirit of that Mozambican boy who was murdered by the church elder, and we did not even know. Then one day, Brother Nashi, my husband had gone to town with the kids. When my husband went to town with the kids, he promised me that he was going to come back like in time. But to my surprise, my husband, he came back home very late, and I never thought that the ghost, they existed. So I was busy cooking. I left my pot on the stove. So I wanted to watch this other movie because we had a TV in the bedroom. So instead of watching the movie in the living room, I then went upstairs because this was a double-storied house. I then went upstairs and I was in bed. Whilst I was cooking, I would go downstairs and check on my pot, and then I would return back upstairs. I was in bed at that time. When it was dark, that was when I started to hear some movements. Even in my body, I could feel that there was something bad that was going to happen. Like my spirit was trying to tell me that there were other spiritual beings that were present in that house. I kept on watching the movie, and I was worried now that it was dark, that my husband was taking forever to return back home with the kids, and I was a little bit scared. But since I never believed that spiritual beings and ghosts, they do exist, I was not scared that much. Then that was when I heard that there was someone that was walking down the stairs. So these wooden stairs, they were a little bit noisy. Me and my husband had said that once we had money, we were going to renovate them because they would make a creaking sound when you will be going downstairs or when you will be coming upstairs. That was when I heard that there was someone that had been walking in the hallway upstairs, and then that person started to walk going downstairs. So I called out and I said, Papa Trish, and I thought that it was my husband that had returned back home, but that person remained quiet. And I kept on calling again. That was when I heard the person responding, and this was like my husband's voice. So I just thought that maybe it was my husband. He then said, your pot is burning. The food that you are cooking, it is burning downstairs. Come and check. Brother Nashi, the moment that I got out of the house, the things that I saw, they are very difficult to explain to someone who does not believe that ghosts, they do exist. The moment that I got out of the bedroom, when I was standing in the hallway, I saw that there was smoke everywhere, as if the house, it was burning. So I thought that maybe since my husband had told me that the food that I had been cooking, it was burning, then that was when I started running downstairs. Brother Nashi, I saw a ghost. I saw a man that was standing in the hallway. This man, he was upstairs. He was looking at me. Then I started running. I knew that there was something that was wrong. Whilst I was going downstairs, that was when I saw that there was a boy that was sleeping on the couch, and this boy just disappeared. And then I then saw that there was a skeleton that was now chasing after me. I had never been scared like that in my life. I ran and I opened the kitchen door and I ran outside. I was so scared to even return back indoors. I sat outside until my husband returned back home. So when I was outside by the veranda, that was when I saw the ghost again. This ghost, it was in the kitchen looking at me, but it looked more like a skeleton that wanted to harm me. But it was as if I was paralyzed. I was glued into the chair where I was sitting, and I was even unable to get up from the chair to run so that I can wait for my husband outside of the yard. My husband, he returned back home, and I told him. When I told my husband, since he had never seen a ghost and never had a spiritual experience or an encounter ever before in his life, he did not believe me that much. But my kids then said, you see, Mom, that is what we used to tell you, that there is something that is always chasing us in our dreams. That night, Brother Nashim, we slept in my bedroom with the kids, me and my husband. We were sleeping on the bed, and then as for the kids, they were sleeping on the floor. Throughout the night, the kids were having nightmares. My husband as well, he was having nightmares. And indeed, when we saw that this was what was happening, we were having these spiritual encounters, we tried to speak with the eldest children who are in the UK, not wanting to mention their names, but the way that they treated us, it was really bad. Instead of them feeling sorry for us and for them to understand that this was the situation that we were facing, there was no need for us to lie to them that we were seeing a spirit of a man that was now telling us in our dreams how he had been murdered, and he was telling us that his manhood was buried at this other farm that belonged to their grandfather. And when we told them this, it was as if we had done something really bad and we have done something wrong. They started to shout at us because we had told them that we just wanted a refund for the deposit of the house that we had given them and for the money that we had been paying them monthly. The way that they shouted at us, it was really bad. I do not want to lie to you, Brother Nashi. And then that was when we just gave up, and we then looked for tenants. At first, we looked for tenants. They stayed at our house whilst we were staying somewhere else. We were also staying as tenants. And these tenants of ours, they told us that they could no longer stay at that property anymore. They moved out. And then that was when We looked for another couple. It was still a young couple. They came to us looking for a place to stay, and we told them how much we wanted per month. We were trying to recover the money that we had given to the eldest children. And then that couple, Brother Nashi, after they had paid the monthly rent, including the deposit, guess what? They only stayed for 2 days. Then after 2 days, they left the property. They did not even demand for a refund or their deposit. They just left without telling us, until we met another family that we sold this house to. To this very day, they are still staying at that property. So I don't know if spiritually, if they are strong, or if there are things that they also do spiritually, that is why they are not being attacked by that ghost. But I just want to give a warning to other people out there not to just trust someone because they have money, they are wealthy, therefore you think that they do not do any rituals. We never even thought or suspected that the elder himself, he could have done such a terrible thing, and he had been living with a ghost almost all of his life at church. Everyone just thought that this elder, he was a man of God, and he had been highly blessed by the Lord, looking at all the wealth, the houses that he owned. Yet these were some of the terrible things that he did. I just want to tell people that when you move in, you need to make sure that you pray for the house, and to always pray at all the times, because each and every house that you move into that is fully built, there might have been other things, rituals that might have been done there that will affect you and your kids. By the time that we left that house, Brother Nash, even though we did not want to move out because it was very beautiful, our kids, the way that they were so sick, it was so terrible. You could see that if we could stay any day longer at this house, our kids are going to die. So we moved out. I just hope that other people are going to learn from my own story that these things, they do happen. And when you move into a new house, you need to pray for that house. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Let us try to speak with her in the comment section.